GPS is even, in my opinion, worse than the RF of the old days. We've had two companies so far. One will give us a approximate, meaning the person went in this restricted zone and there's a 80% chance that this point is accurate. There's a 75% chance that it's accurate. The company we have now just tells us how many satellites were on the person. So it'll say 5 out of 7 satellites were on this person. So what does that mean to the court? I don't know. We haven't had that circumstance yet, but if they called me to testify, could you say 100% sure that the person went in the zone? I'd have to say no.
What are the two companies that you guys are currently using?
We use CAM System, and we had used G4S in the past, and we've had proposals from several others. A lot of these have revamped. Some have combined, some have changed names out throughout the years. I've been affiliated with the GPS since about 2008, when the bill passed that we had to start this in January 2009.
Do you know what was the primary decision-making process on why we elected to go with those two? Were they just is this 2009 when we got involved with these?
Yeah, we sent out an RFP and looked at all the devices. I personally put several of them in a vehicle and for several days drove throughout the county to see how they would track. GPS combines with cellular. You have to have cellular coverage and you have to have GPS. The GPS tracks via the satellite, however it communicates via cellular. So it could hold a violation, but if it doesn't have cellular to communicate that back to, whether it be the sheriff or a monitoring company or someone, then that sometimes is delayed dramatically.
Right.
So they have to have both. And there were flaws in a lot of these, but we picked the best that would fit our needs, but there's still flaws, but it was the best available to us. And for our purposes, you know, it was a mandate that we had to have it.
Do you find, one more question, do you find that over the last 7 years, I'm assuming that you talk with other folks that work with GPS bracelets and stuff, is there any discussion about any improvements in the technology where you're saying, hey, we're hearing that this product is getting better, that one that you would recommend?
I don't think so. The only thing that I discovered is the battery life on some of them are much better. Yeah, ours, when we first started, we had to have people charge for 60 minutes twice a day. And then sometimes, depending on where they work, it draws. It's kind of like a cell phone. If you don't use your phone much, it may last you 2 days without charging. If you're running GPS on your phone, it may kill the thing in a couple hours. Same thing with GPS. If they were to go in the bottom of this building, it's going to try to get a signal out, and it's going to really run that battery down quick. Rather than if they're outside in the parking lot, it's going to wear a lot less on the device. Both of them, or I think 2 or 3 that we tested this year, I went on the internet and looked at just to see if I could see flaws, and one was, the myth that you could wrap it in aluminum foil and then it wouldn't send out the signal. That was true. We tested that. I wrapped it in aluminum foil in the office, we went outside, and it did not work. It didn't pick up at all. We walked around the whole block, around the courthouse, and it didn't pick up the device at all. So there's kind of flaws in all of them as far as I've been affiliated with. We're just
Steve had his question there. I'm sorry.
I know the military gives surplus equipment to the sheriff's department, and why can't we get military-grade monitoring devices? Is there a reason for that, or is it just that they don't want to let us have it?
I have no idea about that. I'm with probation, so I don't really know the sheriff's ins and outs of that. I doubt that the military would use any GPS for these type of purposes, to put on an ankle to keep someone on house arrest, but I don't know.
I'm not, I'm not really versed on this a lot, but I've read articles where soldiers go out in the battle in the jungle or wherever they're at, in the cave, and they have devices where they can find them. And, I'm just, I don't know I haven't read enough about it to be 100% articulate on the subject, but I'm thinking if the military has something, why can't we get it from them? Or we tried, or we went to find out if there is something, because what you're saying is not a viable option, because the person can get around it.
I don't know what the military actually has, to be honest with you. However, if you put a GPS device on someone to try to track maybe their whereabouts through the day, to see approximately where they're going, then it's a viable option, in my opinion. But if you're going to restrict them to a house and expect this thing to work only there, because if you're just tracking their travels throughout the day to see where they go, for whatever reason, there may be some points that aren't accurate, but that doesn't affect you that much. But if you're going to put it in a house, there's going to have to be some type of personnel that go check on that house when those stray points go astray, and it could be anywhere from 3 to maybe 10 times a night.
Yeah, I was just a little confused because, like when I was talking about it a couple meetings back, I was looking at it like somebody that got arrested for a nonviolent crime. Instead of going to jail, they go to house arrest where they go to work, and they go to the grocery store, but they have to have it monitored, only allowed to go to certain places, and then we would know where they're at, and that's it. They can't go out to go visit their buddies. They can only go to work. They can only go to the store or the doctor or whatever. Where, in other words, they don't lose their job. So when they get out of jail, they got to go back and steal and do everything else to get money. So I was thinking that was a good way to keep it where somebody can be part of society yet, even though they're imprisoned in their own little confines. But was that something that works with what we got?
To a point. It depends on a couple things. Whenever you look at cost, any kind of electronic monitoring, my big component that I've always told my bosses is you have to make sure you have the manpower. None of these that I've been affiliated with, you can't just put it on a person, send them home, and have an electronic monitoring company just take care of things. You have to have personnel looking at the computer, going to the house, checking on the false alarms. We do get false alarms that they left, or that the battery's dying, and sometimes it's not. It could be a bad device. So to say whatever the cost may be, if it's $6 a day for the device, that cost is not $6 a day. That cost is $6 a day plus, your manpower or whoever's monitoring the system. If you have no one to check on that and you just plan on $6 a day, it's never going to work that way. You have to have personnel checking on those false alarms and making phone calls to the people and all those kind of things. Probation, we have a hard time because we're not a 24/7 operation. We have to call and get favors from police all the time, and most of the time it does work. However, that's a big proponent that we ran into very early on. One of our first cases lived up by Midway Airport. He left our office, he never charged the device. We called him, it went dead. Now I had to call his victim and say, this thing is not working. And her question is, where is he? And I have to say, I don't know. So now we have a victim, very frightened. He might be on his way to her house. And that went on for several days. The state's attorney's got a warrant. We dealt with Cook County and Chicago. The state's attorneys dealt with Cook County and Chicago. And I was told by both jurisdictions, if this isn't a Cook County case, we're not going to get them. Eventually, about 2 weeks later, I got a call from a Chicago cop who said him and his partner, by chance, were going to lunch, they were sitting at the front window of a restaurant, and this guy walked by and they remember seeing his photo. That's the only way he was picked up. But they would not even go to the house to look for him. Whether the sheriff's department has more luck with that, I don't know. For us, that was a huge problem because we were pretty much re-victimizing the victim in that case.
I just like you guys, if you could, I know it's a lot, I don't know how much time it would take, but it's not a real time-consuming thing. Find out if there's a better system, because that system, there's a, with the flaws you said, I hate to let somebody go on a bracelet and then they go out and they commit a crime and then they come back and they say our sheriff department's garbage because they let criminals out there do damn, I don't want to be responsible for nothing like that. I want to try and make things better. But if there's a better system, I think everybody would be more interested. I mean, because if you could track somebody by putting a bracelet on without having to charge it, if they have something like that, or it's just has a chip or something where they know where the person is. Maybe anything that would be was cost effective is what we're looking for. But it's got to be able to work.
I thought you were finished. Sorry. Gretchen?
Well, we can't ask Eric to do that he doesn't work for us like some of the
No, I'm
other
saying
experts
it's
we have
possible.
come in, yeah. Well,
I don't know.
I think the better thing for us to do would be to contact counties, either in Illinois or outside of Illinois, who have done this, and, have somebody from one of those counties come in. I think that would maybe be a better option of, what's working, what are the actual possibilities of, because I know there's other counties that do this.
I dealt with, we had a symposium before we started this in Illinois, and then a few years later, and I've dealt with people from other probation departments that currently use it, and they've told me things such as, yeah, we have a guy that we monitor, he gets on the train, we lose him the whole train ride down to Chicago, we pick him up again from the train to his office building, he works in the basement floor, we lose him all day, and then we pick him up walking to the train, and we lose him on the train ride home. For whatever reason, just from my knowledge, these probation departments would tell me that on the phone, but when they came to the meeting so we could try to work out all these bugs, ours works fine, ours works fine. No one wanted to admit that they have a problem, and I don't know if that's a liability thing, but that was the issue we had, because I was trying to figure out all the problems everyone else had, so maybe we could work around that. And when we had everyone meet together, everyone pretty much said it works great, but I know for a fact that it doesn't work great. So,
Yeah.
You said you're using this at the juvenile level right now?
we use an RF, it's a radio
Oh, so
frequency.
you're not using the GPS?
Yeah, the radio frequency pretty much keeps them at a certain range, and when they leave, then you have no idea, where they're at.
Any other questions, Gretchen?
Not really a question, just a comment. I mean, just based on what he's saying, we're not really talking about a house arrest type situation. We're talking about what Steve was saying. We want somebody to be able to go to work. And so the GPS is the only thing that we could be looking at. The other one's not going to work.
Eric, I guess I would just ask, it sounds like, I'm just going to dig just a little bit, Eric. Tell me a little bit about, all right, so let's stay focused on GPS, because I don't want to stray and confuse the RF with the GPS. Are we currently using the GPS in our system right now? I believe the answer is yes to that.
We have a program set up because we're state mandated to have it. There's currently one that the judge is going to take a look at in another couple of weeks and make a decision if the person goes on or not, but we currently don't have anyone on right now.
Okay. Well,
We have had people on in the past.
we have, it sounds like it's a technology that's improving, but it's really, if you're really dependent upon this to monitor someone's whereabouts 100% of the time, that's not what's going to happen. So, have to take another look at this and see. I think what you're suggesting about talking with some other counties, and I'm sure that you guys talking with them all the time, just trying to get a feel for, what type of research have they done, and try to help us out at the same time. Maybe we can put something together, but I'm not real comfortable with the GPSs that aren't accurate at all times right now. And I don't know if you ever get to that point, honestly. It's just as an area that I'm a little uncomfortable with.
Try to use GPS, not touch phone.
Yeah, I can't even get my GPS when I'm down there in the buildings.
Won't tell you.
Yeah.
And it is similar to that, because we have a victim form that we have to go over with the victims ahead of time, excuse me, and let them know, this could be a definite advantage to you. However, it's just like satellite TV. If there's a bad storm, this may not work.
Right.
So it's not 100% foolproof. However, it may be better than what you have now. So that's kind of how we explain it.
I guess my thought, as I'm thinking about it, is that, I guess, what's its purpose? If you're identifying what the individual's crimes were, if we're talking nonviolent offenders, maybe there's a part that you can say, hey, they fit into this small bucket that we would allow that, but I don't think with the information that I have that I would be willing to propose anything. But,
I walked in kind of in the middle of this thing, and I'm not on this committee, but is there systems out there that combine GPS with cellular technology? Because that gives you a little bit better than just straight GPS.
I think they all do.
They all do?
Yeah.
So they're trying to, if they can acquire a cell signal, they're still trying to get you pretty close to where you're trying to get.
Yeah, it's kind of a backup. Even the system we have now, we're trying to pick up with the satellite, and if it doesn't, it'll try with the cell. But the cell is even less accurate than the GPS, from what I understand. I've been doing this for a while, but by no means am I expert, I would say, on technology.
Well, Eric, I appreciate you taking your time to come in today. Thank you for giving us the information that you're aware of, and that you've got a hands-on experience with this. We don't. This is something that we're exploring. So the information that you provided today is actually very important. So I appreciate you coming in and taking the time out. We don't have any more questions. We'll let you get back because I know you've got to be somewhere.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you,
anytime
Eric.
if I can provide anything to you in the future, I'd be glad to.
Thanks. You take care.
Thank you.
Well, that's an interesting topic, so we'll work our way back around to that. I just wanted to give a report, since I'm here today, about the NACO meeting that we attended in late July. I just wanted to encourage other county board members, if you do have an opportunity to attend, there's a lot of valuable information at these NACO meetings, but you really have to use your time wisely. There's good classes that they offer. We're not the only ones faced with these challenges here with the alternatives to incarceration. There were representatives from all over the nation there. All of them were talking about it. Specifically, Los Angeles County, I believe, seems to be there's 4 counties there in Southern California that are using alternatives to incarceration approaches, and they seem to have the lead on this and have been doing it since 2011. A lot of excitement in the room about providing these services. Unfortunately, for me, I have to say that I'm a bit cautious about approaching them after attending a NACO meeting, and I'll just honestly tell you why, and that is, though they're all applying these alternatives to incarceration initiatives, they're reporting back that crime rates are actually going up in those areas. And for me, that's a deterrent. I'm not interested in having crime rates go up because we're going to continue to release so-called nonviolent offenders back into the community to commit the same crimes they've just got arrested for because they know that there's no jail time associated with that. So, just from my heart, that's how I feel about this. I want to continue to pursue this because I think that there are good services that can be offered, and those specifically for mental health services that we can get to some individuals. But my goal would be to continue to move forward and identify how we can better provide mental health services to those that need it, and not just turning away or checking criminals in and then sending them back out on the streets to commit the same crimes they just got arrested for. So, in fact, one of the individuals told me while I was there that, and I've talked to the chief judge about this a little bit, and he said that, not he said, they said that they're actually setting up little clinics where they're not even taking the arrested individual to the jail anymore. They're actually taking them to a midway clinic to be assessed and to determine at that point whether they need to go on to the jail or whether they need to release them back into the public at that time. And so they're way out in front. A few people that I know that live out there have said that, yeah, the rates are going up. And so I just want to encourage us to keep moving forward on this, but to be aware that I don't want, recidivism is an issue that we're trying to address here at the same time. Right. To release them back to continue to do the same crimes is not what we want to accomplish. So I just wanted to make you aware that that's some of the things. Though the presentations were wonderful, there's a lot of excitement because it's a new thing that people all want to be involved in. I wasn't so happy about some of the reports I was hearing about some of these counties that have been running these for several years now. So let's just keep that in mind as we move forward. So, Steve?
Yeah, when I brought this up a long time ago, the whole point of it was to find a way to keep a person that got arrested for something that was, they're not minor, none of it's minor, but I don't know another word to use, but like a minor type crime. There's no violence, no guns, nothing really outstandingly violent. Well, how do you get a guy that's got a job and then he gets fired from his job because he can't go to work because he's in jail? They come out, and if a person is 40 years old, they're not going to find another job. So now they're going to be, how do you live? And so my thought with this program was that somebody like that, and it's not everybody, it's just certain people, would fall into where they can get a bracelet and they go to work. Not go party or go out, just go to work and come home to their house. That can work, but obviously this bracelet isn't going to work. At least that's my impression right now. I'm going to pursue it a little more with some of our congressmen and ask them if there's a thing that we have somewhere in the federal government that we might be able to do. But as of right now, I agree with you. Yeah. This is not a viable option.
Can I just make a comment? When the jail was being built, we did some tours of other county jails, and I was able to go with them to a jail in Wisconsin. Wisconsin has something called the Huber Law, where they work and come back in and pay for being in jail. And the people that don't work, some people are actually, we noticed because they had different colored uniforms, and some were solid, some were a different color, and some were two different colors. So the people that stayed there had one color, the people that had jobs had another color, and then there was the bi-color, where they actually worked with the correctional officers and developed a plan where they would go out and find a job, and then they would be able to work, and they paid for their incarceration, but they checked back in at a time, so you knew where they were at work, or you knew if they were in the jail. But I don't know if anybody in Illinois has looked, or like somebody in the legislative committee might want to look at that. But
yeah, you had sent me an email on the Huber Law, and I haven't had a chance to follow up on that, but I did want to look into that. This is something that we want to continue to move forward in. We just want to be aware of what, there's people out there that are taking the lead on this, and they're experiencing some of the negative effects of it. So we don't want to take those same steps and have those same the consequences here. So.
And we have GPS attached to our ankle. The alcohol monitoring bracelets have GPS in them now, but it's the same thing. If you're down like in the basement of 121 in the concrete, you get a totally different reading of where you're at.
Well, we'll keep moving forward with this. This is just one small part of this whole program. So It's just a part that we'll probably need to look at a little longer and put on the back burner. But is there any other old business today? None? No new business? Any public comment? Public comment, anybody? Going third time. No chairman's report, executive session not necessary. Can we get a motion for adjournment?
Motion?
All in favor? All opposed? All right, thank you guys. Have a good day.